Yesterday we worked on finding the percent in class in our guided notes. So today, after looking over our answer to the last problem, there's two things I need to ask you to make sure you do. Please, at the end, attach the percent sign onto your answer. So that's one of the things I noticed. And then there's still a little bit of confusion where the numbers go. So we're going to be very good about labeling them. So let's do the first two together, and then I'm going to ask you to do the next two on your own. This first problem says 13 out of 20 jelly beans are green. What percent of the jelly beans are green? So we're going to first highlight our given information. We have 13 out of 20, and then it asks us what percent. So please underline, circle, or highlight that. Well, 13 would be the part, 20 would be the total, and what percent is what our rate is. And let's recall, for all of these, we're going to try to use this formula, part equals rate times total. So I'm going to start by writing that formula. And now that we've labeled what we're going to fill in, it's called substituting the variable. 13 is what I'm going to replace the P with, so it's 13. The percentage rate I don't know, and the total I know is 20. So we normally like to see our equations with our number in front of our variable. You do not have to do this step. You could actually leave it as written. Now we're to a solving step. So I have to build my wall. I have to look at the side that has the variable. I want that variable by itself. And so I need to eliminate 20 mathematically. So I have to know that side by side means multiply. So my solving step means that I'm going to do the opposite, which is dividing by 20. And I have to do this on both sides. So these two sides should now look exactly the same, or not exactly, they should have the same solving step. And so I need to write down my answer. Once I do that, this eliminates, and I have R, which is what I wanted, and 13 divided by 20 is 0 and 65 hundredths. So at any point you can stop and use your calculator. I found that by taking 13 divided by 20. That's how I found it. Put that in the calculator. But if you recall, they ask what percent, and R represents the percentage rate. But however, we have a decimal, so we have one more step. We're going to take our decimal, 0 and 65 hundredths, and we're going to convert it to a percent by multiplying by 100. That's percent means is per 100. And when we do that, we're going to get R equals 65%. So we're going to write that answer 65% on the line. And if we look at the problem, what did it say? 65% of the jelly beans are green. So that's how we do these problems. Let's start again. Notice, and this was one of the steps that was missing on many papers I looked at yesterday, and then also confusion where to put the numbers. So let's start again. This time we're going to read through the problem, do the same process. So we hopefully are doing the same thing. By the way, please do not turn in a paper with just the answer. I need to see all of your work. The more we practice this, the better we get. And we're going to apply this equation to many situations in this unit. The second question says the fish tank has 60 fish. 12 of the fish have spots. What percent of the fish have spots? So we're going to start by highlighting our information. I see that the fish tank has 60 fish. Whoops, didn't mean to cross it out, meant to highlight it. 12 of the fish have spots. So the question is, what percent of the fish have spots? So we know, as I look at 60, that seems like a total. There are a total of 60 fish in the tank. part of them have spots. So 12 is the part. And what percent is our our percentage rate. So please label that. Now we're going to replace our variables in our equation, part equals rate times total, with numbers, or we might have to leave some variables. So I see 12. I'm able to put where the P is, replace the P. Then the R, well, that's a question. We don't have a number, so we're going to have to leave it R. And T is 60. So when they're side by side, it means I'm multiplying them. My personal preference is to rewrite this, so I see the number first and then the variable. When I write a number and variable side by side, I don't have to use parentheses, and it means that I'm multiplying. So next, I'm going to solve it. We want to know what R is, so we need R by itself. Well, side by side means multiply, so to undo this 60, I'm going to divide by 60 on both sides. It's called balancing the equation. So whatever I do on that side, I have to do on the other side. And 60 divided by 60 is 1. In other words, we're able to eliminate it. Dropping down just the R, which is what we want, and 12 divided by 60. Pause and use your calculator. And hopefully you had 0 and 2/10. So now we have to go back to the question. What percent of the fish have spots? Well, we need for this to be a percent. So we're going to take our answer of 0 and 2/10 times 100, because percent means out of 100. So we're going to multiply by 100, and we're going to get 20, and we're going to attach a percent sign, and that's the answer for the percent. So we're going to write 20% on this line, and we're going to go back to the question, what percent? Well, 20% of the fish have spots. So if we just look at what they ask us, we can write our sentence. 20% of the fish have spots. All right, so I would love for you to try 3, 4, 5, and 6 on your own. The more we practice, the better we get. Thanks so much. Have a good afternoon.